Hey, amazing beings. Hello. It is Friday. Yay. How did we get to be so lucky? I am so grateful to be here. And as you know, this is Free and Clear Fridays, in case you didn't know, with Dr. Sarah, who is me. And I am so excited that you're here, that we're gathering together on this lovely Friday afternoon, at least here in Michigan. So, how you be? What is going on in your world? You know, you never know what's going to show up. That's the amazing thing about living consciously. Now, the one thing about consciousness, it does include the good, the bad, and the ugly. The key thing is to not judge what that is. If we can be in a space of being in the awareness of the good, the bad, and the ugly, it gets a lot easier. It gets a lot easier to navigate things and not take things so, well, it's not about it being serious, but we can take things in a way that allows us not to be weighed down or in a way that can be limiting. So that's what we're here to do, that at least on this show, is to clear anything that is heavy so you can be in that space of ease and lightness and, you know, in the midst of all the havoc and insanity of this world, because this world, this reality will definitely deliver. No doubt about it. And speaking of that, what has been going on for you this week? What has been showing up in your reality? What does that look like? Has it been light? Has it been heavy? Has there been things that have come in that have been limiting or inspiring? Whatever it is, let's go ahead and clear anything that has a limitation to it. Right, wrong, good and bad, pon poc, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. That is the clearing statement. That is the clearing tool we use here on Free and Clear Fridays. And it is the Access Consciousness clearing statement. And it is an amazing, magical wand. Magical wand of allowing us to free ourselves of anything that's heavy or limiting. So you can find that explanation of the clearing statement on my website. And I will include the link here on the IGTV recording of this live. And yeah, you can check it out over there. So we're basically looking at clearing anything that's limiting, anything that's heavy. We tend to think in very black and white terms, and we tend to feel things in a very limiting way. Like, I am sad, I am upset. And you know, we've just come off of that wonderful holiday, that Hallmark holiday of Valentine's Day. So this is the Friday after, and I wonder, what has that been like for you? What has it been like to be part of Valentine's Day this year? Because it's not only a day that I'm sure you're experiencing, it's also pretty popular in the world to do Valentine's Day. And it can bring up a lot of unease, maybe relationship issues, you know, this whole thing about love. And like Tina Turner said, what does love got to do with it? Well, it has to do with a lot of things to a lot of people. So everything this brings up and lets down, let's destroy and create it all. Right, wrong, good and bad, pon poc, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Now, you may have checked out the video I did earlier this week. I posted it on Valentine's Day. And it was about love and how love can actually be a limitation. That love and judgment can go hand in hand. You know, when someone says to you, I love you and I do anything for you and love me the same way is really what they're saying. And you're like, oh no, what if I don't? Or what if I disappoint? Or, you know, there's almost like a positive judgment that can be put on a statement like that. And not to mention, as I mentioned in the video, that love can have hundreds of definition. Hundreds of different definitions. So how many definitions of love are you hitting up against when you may just have one, but the beings around you may have all kinds of different ones? And if it doesn't match, it may come in heavy. So everything that brings up, let's destroy and uncreate it all. Right and wrong, good and bad, pon poc, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. It also may require a big return to sender of consciousness, or pon poc all the lies, because those are the things that keep showing up, and pon pocking all the lies allows us to do a little more potent return to sender, because that could be a doozy of one. You may be picking up on other people's definitions, and it may come right at you in ways that may be heavy. So everything that brings up, let's destroy and uncreate it all. Right and wrong, good and bad, pon poc, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So what are you noticing? Was there anything that came up for you this week around the Valentine's Day? Gosh, I get massacre. So was there a massacre of a Valentine's Day this year for you, or not? Was it light? Was it lovely? Was it ease? You know, it's kind of like any holiday. It can be really weird, and especially when it's a invention of what it's supposed to be, like all light and love. And again, love and judgment can go hand in hand. Now, the alternative word that I like to use, and it's not just a word, but it's a space of being, is the word loving. So we can have a loving space for someone, and it's very open. It's very like unconditional in a way. It's kind of like gratitude. Like you can have gratitude for someone in a way, even if they treat you poorly, you can be grateful for that person. And it's kind of like on the spectrum of interesting point of view. So when we do interesting point of view, when we do gratitude, or be it really, be gratitude, be in that space of interesting point of view, and be in a loving space, there's no conditions. There's just an openness to receiving. It's a very conscious word. So the tendency, well, it's not even the way to describe it. Basically, ing words are conscious words. They're words that allow us to tap into an energy, into a space without a limitation, really. So I can have a caring space for you, even if you judge the hell out of me. I can have a loving space, and it doesn't have to interfere with whatever you bring back to me, but I can be that. I can have that space no matter what. And that is a very conscious, light space to be in if you choose. So the word loving can be such a lovely space to be. And it really allows you then not to be in the need for the other person to reciprocate. Like if you give them a Valentine and they don't give you one back, I'm still in a loving space because that's what I'm giving you. I'm gifting you this. If you, whatever you want to do with it, sure. Now, but if we did it according to this reality, and if I love you, then you need to love me back, or equal footing, or this idea that if it's a you versus me and relationship and done insanely according to this reality. Now, if you do it differently, it's more of the space of like, oh, I can be, you can be, and we come together in this loving space. And as I said in the video, which I thought was funny, it's kind of cheesy. It's like, I have a loving space for you. But, and there's a but. And it's true. I can have a loving space, and it's light for me, even if the person doesn't reciprocate. How does it get any better than that? Because the key thing is to honor yourself and have actually a loving space for you. If you have it for you, that's really where it can be received any given moment. So that's really where we're meant to be when it comes to this space of relationship, or like I like to say, or be in, and that's creationships. So what would it be like to be in the loving space of you and others? Anything that won't allow that, let's destroy and uncreate it all. Right and wrong, good and bad, pon poc, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And I wonder what else is possible when you're willing to be in that space and clear all the limitations that have come up. You know, this is probably not your first rodeo when it comes to relationships or anyone that you're in currently. It could be from, you know, the past. It can be even going into the future. What would it be like to move into a space that has more ease around that? So it doesn't mean you have to go walk around in the world and say, I have a loving for you. Will you have a loving space for me? No, we're not going to be ridiculous. We can still use the word love. It's an energy though. And just be in the awareness of when you use it and how you use it and what you receive from other people when they say it to you. Get a clear read on it. If it reads heavy, clear the energy around it. And if it reads light, embrace it. So when you are being in that space of receiving in that way, it can just be so much more fun. It's less significant. It clears out the judgment. Interesting point of view. Interesting point of view. True allowance. So anywhere you haven't been in the true allowance, being, perceiving, receiving, and loving space of you, destroy and create it all. Right and wrong, good and bad, pon poc, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And what else has been going on this week? We can always circle back to this topic for sure, but what have you noticed? Let's tune in now to anything that has been heavy for you. A heavy situation, a heavy thought, feeling, or emotion that you've been in. Whatever that is for you, let's bring that up now and let's go ahead and clear it. So everything that is, let's destroy and uncreate it all. Right and wrong, good and bad, pon poc, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Whew. Wow. So you notice when we clear the energy, it allows us to have more of the space of being. And then it really allows us to just be able to see from the space of interesting point of view. And again, when we do interesting point of view, when we be interesting point of view, it just allows us to then be present with whatever, anything is going on. And you've heard me say this before, and I'm going to say it again right now. And that is, if everyone had an interesting point of view and gave others interesting point of view, then we wouldn't have the limitations in this reality. We wouldn't have to go into a fight. We wouldn't have to go into a limitation of a war or a disregard or any black and white thinking, to be honest. We can just be interesting point of view to everything. And it really diffuses things. It really allows us to no longer be heavy. All right, so play with that this week, this idea of interesting point of view, and see what you notice. See what that's like for you. So what are you noticing now? Is there any difference in the space that you be? Is it a little lighter? What do you notice? And anything that's still lingering, let's destroy and uncreate all that now, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pon poc, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. You see, if we're open to receiving anything, we can clear anything that's heavy, but we can also then be in that awareness of creating more as a result of our receiving. So the minute we go into limitation around receiving, we cut ourselves off from receiving, and that includes relationships, with money, with our career, with everything in our life. So receiving is huge. Sometimes we try to protect ourselves so we don't get hurt. That would be a conclusion, and that would be actually cutting yourself off from receiving. So everywhere you want to, or everywhere you have bought into someone else's point of view and going into the limitation of shut down and shut out when someone hurt you and all of that, because that comes with the territory of Valentine's Day, doesn't it? Let's destroy and create all that. Right and wrong, good and bad, pon poc, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. So when we're just in the awareness of the feelings, the thoughts and emotions, it's just like, okay, so that sadness has showed up. Okay, that limitation showed up. Now what's it going to take to clear this? Sometimes it requires one clearing, sometimes a couple clearings. What if you just be in that space and ask questions and clear as you go? I know it sounds really simple, because it is. It's not always easy, although it is when you choose it. And sometimes these things just require ongoing clearing. So everything and anything that this has brought up for you, let's destroy and create it all. Right and wrong, good and bad, pon, poc, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So before we finish up, we have a few more minutes left, but I just want to let you know that I have a class coming up with an amazing being. Andre Beluso and I are doing this really fun class, how different are you willing to be? And we are going to open up that conversation to look at it from another point of view of anywhere that you may have experienced a limitation regarding mental health and things related to being diagnosed, or everywhere you bought a diagnosis of anything really that's limited you. So we're going to look at that. We're going to clear some things on that. And I would love for you to join us on that. I am going to include the link on the IGTV comments in that comment section. You can go find it there. I will be posting a story. You can find the link of this IGTV Free and Clear Fridays with the link. I'm going to add the link there actually as well. So you can click on it and go check it out. And wow, I wonder what else is possible now. What is coming up for you this next week? Going into the week of it's going to be the third week of February. So what do you know? What else is possible? What can you generate and create this week that will allow you to have what it is you desire? So anything that won't allow that, we destroy and uncreate it all now, please. Right, wrong, good or bad, pon, poc, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And feel free to post anywhere you like on my social media. If you have any questions, or if you have something come up that you received and are aware and would like to share it, I would love to hear from you. So you can post anywhere. If it's on this link, if it's somewhere else, that would be fantastic. And I wonder, what else is possible now? What are you willing to receive that you haven't been willing to receive? Anything that won't allow that, destroy and uncreate it all. Right and wrong, good and bad, pon, poc, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And to come full circle and check into that space of love versus loving. Loving. Love is a conclusion where judgment can be attached. A loving space of being can be infinite, expansive, a space of honoring you. All right, amazing beings. I adore you. As I always say here at the end, that I have your back. I got you. And you can tap into my energy anytime you choose. Go check everything out on social media. And I just so appreciate each of you and so grateful for being in the space where we can take problems and turn them into possibilities. All right, well, go and have an amazing weekend, amazing week, and I'll look forward to seeing you next week here on Free and Clear Fridays with Dr. Sarah. Bye for now.